Welcome to Blockchain Recorded, the podcast for the tech curious, where we talk about anything and everything related to the exponentially evolving crypto blockchain and Web 3.0 space. Blockchain Recorded's mission is simple: to share knowledge and insight and help evolve education in blockchain fundamentals and decentralization solutions. We at Blockchain Recorded are not registered investment advisors and do not deal with financial or trading token elements, nor offer any licensed financial services. The content of this podcast is provided for informational and educational purposes only, while the opinions of all parties involved are their own. I'm your host, Nina Cerar. I have a finance background, having worked on Wall Street and the pharmaceutical industry. After living in 5 countries and dedicating time to my family, I left the corporate world. Today, I work as a freelance consultant and am fascinated by the innovative space of crypto and blockchain, different ways of thinking, and the people that are making that happen. So let's talk blockchain. Before we talk about blockchain, I should mention a few words about our sponsor today. This episode's sponsor is 4thTech, which is short for Fourth Pillar Technologies. 4thTech is a next-gen multi-blockchain ecosystem, platform, cryptocurrency, and a suite of decentralized applications that enable users to exchange metadata, data files, and instant messages from wallet to wallet in a secure and decentralized way. The 4thTech charter aims to establish a foundation for decentralized digital identity, multi-chain data exchange, digital data notarization, and decentralization of cloud storage. The 4thTech initiative strives to enable a self-sovereign framework of data authorization and ownership representation, and leverages the power of blockchain to facilitate data source and time confirmation. It's important to note that 4thTech is an initiative, which was established back in 2017 and is composed of individuals and companies that collaborate to create decentralized solutions for the benefit of everyone. The initiative is compatible and in line with the European blockchain services infrastructure and is usable or extendable globally. So let's move to the scope of our podcast. First, we will mention a short 4thTech project recap. We've talked about 4thTech in our roundtable in April, but Tali, the founder, will talk a bit more about just a quick recap. Then we deem it's very important to talk about decentralization and the control over our data and data exchange. We will move on to some development overview in terms of staking and smart contracts. We'll talk about 4IM, the latest 4thTech solution, Solana's support, etc. Of course, we must mention the latest component of the Ethereum monetary policy to solve, and that is EIP 1559, its upgrade and its impact. And we may talk about some multi-blockchain interoperability, layer 2 and sidechains, and continue the conversation there. So with that in mind, I'd like to present to you my 2 guests, Dr. Tali Rejun, the co-founder of 4thTech, and Peter Tuk, the 4thTech developer. Tali, welcome. Can you quickly introduce yourself to our guests?
Hi, Nina. Hello. Thank you for the beautiful intro. My name is Tali Rejun. I have started my entrepreneurial career already at the age of 18. When I have worked as a producer in the first digital audio recording studio in the region that I have built and innovated myself at the time. Soon after, my business evolved into broader digital content production, web page design, app development, SEO, and similar until 2016, when I have discovered blockchain technology, which has become my main focus and partly my obsession until this day. So under the domain of Cutruli Business School, I have finished my business master's, and later in 2018, my business doctorate, focusing on digital technologies. Currently, I'm the head of the 4thTech initiative, UNC Fact blockchain expert, lecturer at Cutruli Business School, and resident speaker at Blockchain Adria.
Great, Tali. Thank you. Peter, can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, hello all. I am university graduate professor of mathematics and computer science with over 20 years of experience in IT industry. I'm a programmer using now mostly C# as my primary programming language to create applications. Regards to blockchain, I have entered the blockchain space in early 2011 out of curiosity and to see if I would be able to set up my own mining device for BTC, with which I was actually successful. I also tried to mine Litecoin and set up nodes for BTC and Litecoin. with respect to creating application on the blockchain, I did not face any challenges until now when I joined the 4thTech development team.
Great, thank you. I would actually like to ask Tali maybe to just give us a few words about 4thTech, like a quick intro, and maybe some of the latest solutions.
Yes. Okay, so we started already in 2017 as a group of blockchain enthusiasts, thinkers, developers, with a simple goal to develop a system, some kind of system of data fairness, which manifested in the simple wallet-to-wallet decentralized data exchange solution as we know today. And the goal was to develop some solution that will be available to all users, not just enterprise users, which have these big systems that are more or less of private nature. So the first beta platform was released in April 2018 on the Ethereum mainnet. So we are talking about the first data exchange solution, accompanied by Google Chrome wallet extension. So intensive testing was needed to figure out what to fix, change, and add before we could release the production version. So in 2020, when the Ethereum gas prices went wild, we figured out that we could not remain only on the Ethereum chain, but we needed other networks to become more multi-blockchain interoperable. So in July 2020, we deployed our data exchange protocol on C-Chain. C-Chain was the first of its kind. Hashnet protocol powered Slovenian national pilot blockchain infrastructure, established to enable public and private sector blockchain network transactions and smart contracts testing. So this was quite something new in back in the day. So in November 2020, we decided that we would deploy also on Polkadot substrate Edgeware. Edgeware was at the time the only Polkadot substrate that supported smart contracts. So the production version of the VET platform, client and wallet, also known as the 4thTech 2.0, was released in May 2021. With Ethereum substrate and hashnet support, and matured range of internal data management solutions was also released in this update. So the 4ID, 4DX, 4NS, and later 4EM will be added. So 4ID stands for the Digital Identity Protocol, 4DX stands for Data Exchange Protocol, 4NS stands for Data Notarization Service, and 4EM will stand for the Instant Messaging Protocol, which we will talk about. We will talk more about later.
Great, Tali. Thanks. Yeah, it's actually important to note. I mentioned this before that we've talked about these solutions already in depth in our first roundtable. So if our audience is interested, you should definitely check that out on our website. We have the roundtable on there. I have a quick question. So the Slovenian national pilot blockchain infrastructure, there's actually something like that called the Slovenian national pilot blockchain infrastructure. Tali, this is, I wasn't aware of this. This is, it's officially called that way.
Yes. Basically, it's a great project that was developed in some sort of consortium between Hashnet, the technology provider, the Telemach, which is the telecommunication regional provider, which hosts the nodes, and the Slovenian Ministry of Development and Infrastructure. And this partnership was made, and the C-Chain was born. So we are the first application deployed on this, let's say, national pilot blockchain infrastructure. And as far as I know, for sure, at the time was the only project at the kind. So basically,
yeah. Interesting. I just had to point that out. Thank you. Great. So maybe Peter, can you explain where and how blockchain is used when data is exchanged from wallet to wallet? So we're talking about 4ID, 4DX, 4NS. Maybe take us through how blockchain is used.
Okay. For exchanging data from wallet to wallet, we are using 4DX. which is defined as decentralized network framework that support any data file exchange. For now, 4DX is supported on blockchains like Ethereum, Hashnet, Substrate on Polkadot and Solana. The exchange digital data is stored off-chain, meaning that the same protocol records on the blockchain only an encrypted link to encrypted metadata, which is stored also on dedicated storage, and the hash of the same JSON metadata, which safeguards the rights of individuals to confidentiality and privacy. This JSON metadata contains three major components. There is a sender, details of the sender, which contains his name, address, and the network used to send the files. Then it contains recipient with the details of the recipient, also his name and address, and the document. In the document, meta contains subject and content. This is input fields in the platform, and the array of files. You can send one or many files, and for each file, it set its file name, file URL. This URL is basically linked to file storage, and its checksum. You have noticed there is a lot of calculation of the checksums of all the files that are stored on the storage. And all those checksums are needed to assure the integrity of the sent files and that any manipulation on the storage can be detected. This fraud prevention process that enables file integrity and guarantees that the meta or data file has not been changed in the course of the transaction between parties. And this process we are calling 4NS. To add and clarify 4NS or data notarization services, we need to understand how it works. Basically, there are several checksums calculated and stored to assure integrity. Checksum stored on the blockchain is validating JSON metadata, which includes all the details of the transaction. If the checksum of the JSON metadata is validated, then the service is also checking the integrity of the document or documents within the transaction. If the validation is confirmed, then the receiver can download documents with the confidence that no one has manipulated the document.
Interesting. So I have a question. So you mentioned JSON metadata file. What is JSON? What does that stand for? What does that mean?
JSON is the standard how the metadata is constructed.
Okay.
Yes.
Just for our listeners that don't know what that means.
Maybe just to add here, sorry to jump in.
Sure.
So basically the 4NS or notarization service validates not only documents, but also any data file or any data file packages. So it makes no sense, but we use the terminology document here so we can offer easier representation to the service solution.
Sure.
Yeah. Because everybody knows that what a notary is, and usually when you go to the notary, you use documents.
Right. Right.
We have also data files or data file packages of any kind that also are validated through our solution.
And so then what about the digital identity protocol? How does that work? This would be the 4ID part.
Yes, the 4ID protocol connects wallets on Ethereum, Hashnet, Substrate of Polkadot or Solana when data is exchanged. It serves as the public key exchange point between users. The data sender needs a public key of the receiver, and this public key is then used to encrypt files. So any file stored on the storage is not readable unless you get the private key from the receiver and decrypt it.
So this is what means truly encrypted.
Yes.
And then I suppose the instant messaging solution works in the same way or similarly. The 4IM that Tali, you mentioned, this is the latest solution that you added to 4thTech's suite.
Yeah, basically it's similar to to 4DX, but a little bit different. So the protocol can be, let's say, defined as a decentralized network framework that supports message exchange between wallets, for now only on Solana blockchain. We will explain later. So the smart contract saves instant messages from the sender and retrieves instant messages from the receiver. So one transaction, one message. We'll try to go deeper in this.
And why Solana?
For now, it is the only blockchain that is fast enough. So we try to achieve the real-time messaging here.
Yeah. So in terms of this encryption, I think we'll probably touch this a bit later also, comparing to the more commercial applications, such as what we use today, Viber and WhatsApp, et cetera. And what that means. So that's sort of where I will pick your brain later. But before we actually touch base there, I think the goal and one of the focuses on today's topic is this data privacy importance, that also is linked to the Web 3.0 mission today. Maybe Tali, the notion of our data, our control. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about Web 3.0 and how it's brought us to today, and then how 4thTech can find its
this?
Yeah, basically how just its position and how 4thTech can bring to this notion.
I have done, let's say, extensive research in this field, but let's say that blockchain offers a way towards regaining control over our data. But to understand it, we must first understand the history, let's say the short history of the online world, of the internet.
That would be great.
So if we take a look for the last 100 years, I don't know, humanity has moved from pre-computing civilization to a post-computing civilization in this short amount of time. So for those of us that have grown already in the computer internet era, it all comes naturally. But let's not forget that nearly 15 years ago, we used chat rooms and 56K modems to chat.
Yeah.
Have come a long way from that time to here. The Web 1.0 was mostly used as a directory of simple static pages with clickable hyperlinks for other pages, for example. If we look at it, this was the first internet revolution at the time, with the sudden encyclopedias of information available anytime online for anybody that has an internet access. It was a revolution of its kind. Data files were exchanged over private FTP connections. There were no easy solution at the time. Maybe small files were exchanged over email, but in most cases, data was recorded on the hard drives and carried.
Yeah. So this was the third industrial revolution, right?
This was, let's say, we call it Web 1.0. The Web 2.0 brought the first dynamic interactive content. It brought online payments. It opened all new possibilities for online commerce, social networks, communication. It is often described as a read and write web, which uses asymmetrical cryptography to secure the whole internet. Basically, the Web 2.0 brought all the big online changes as we know it today, and services such as Uber, Airbnb, PayPal, and similar. So data cloud services such as Dropbox and Google Drive. A lot of good application, but also a lot of data monopoly, data theft, lack of privacy. So this is a part of the Web 2.0. And the biggest problem is this advertising model, which has such big sales incentive to engage people to online content and manipulation with no respect to privacy and intellectual property. Now we use data cloud storage and apps like Viber, WhatsApp, Telegram, and exchange data organically without giving it another thought. So the data exchange is simplified, really simplified. But as soon as we send it, we lose control. That's a fact. So this is the big, let's say, turning point which the Web 3.0 is trying to solve. So it's turning centralized applications into decentralized protocols. It's linking the apps directly to end users, so peer-to-peer, bypassing the intermediaries altogether. So Web3 brings online trust and possible blockchain technology applicable not only to digital money, but to applications and services such as data exchange and storage as well. This is, let's say, the big revolution, the big change. So our data, our control.
Right.
Possibility of this. So what we are doing in 4thTech, basically, we are leveraging trust sourced from the blockchain to provide a secure, immutable wallet to wallet A to wallet B data exchange. So is it a data file? Is it a document? It doesn't matter. So anything. And it's a peer-to-peer protocol that uses web platform, wallet, and blockchain smart contracts to enable encrypted data exchange between users.
Is there... Yeah, this is fascinating. I think it's definitely important to understand the evolution of the internet and what's happening now. It will be interesting to see if the Vibers and WhatsApps of today will become obsolete or not. But is there anyone else that you know of that does what you do, just in simple terms? So having an integration of solutions such as 4DX, 4NS, in other terms, is there someone that does exactly or similarly with that in mind, with Web 3.0? I mean, there must be others that are working on this, no?
Yeah, from 2017, 2018 on, there are a few projects that are dealing with, let's say, decentralization of data. More or less, the solution, we can spot the solutions regarding to cloud data decentralization, cloud data management. One example is SIA. I don't know if you heard of it. We have Filecoin, another example, and so on. These projects are really great. They try to solve data decentralization by sharding data into 20 to 30 pieces that are stored in different locations on different nodes, encrypted, of course, and so on. Very interesting projects, but they basically focus on decentralized storage. What we are trying to do here is to enable any user without extensive blockchain knowledge to exchange data right now at this time and use one of the several public blockchains that we support.
But I would like to dive deeper in the potential of having real private online communication, as you mentioned with 4IM. Is that even possible? That's my question. Tali, you mentioned before that once you type something in Viber or WhatsApp or sort of these commercial apps that we have on our phones, you can forget about the privacy. Is that even possible today?
We are working towards that. But yes, I think that privacy in online communication is a fundamental right of everybody. So exchanging private instant messages over the internet should be easy and accessible. But okay, the reality is different right now. So yes, blockchain can in theory solve that. Up to now, on-chain instant messaging deployment would be very hard to achieve on the blockchain due to slow network speeds, congestions, transaction cost. So with the arrival of the faster blockchains such as Solana, on-chain instant messaging can become a reality. We'll see. We are testing now.
Great.
So, towards this goal, we're trying to develop a simple, fast, safe solution to provide, let's say, immutable instant wallet-to-wallet messaging protocol. So one message, one transaction in our case. So how does it work? Basically, the 4EM protocol connects to the Solana blockchain node using JSON RPC protocol. Solana blockchain as such serves as a layer 1 blockchain ledger, exchanging encrypted messages from 4 wallet address A to 4 wallet address B. Practically real time, as we hope. This will be. So basically, 2 users, they exchange Solana addresses and they chat. So then we have the 4ID, which connects both the wallets of the message sender and the wallet of the message receiver, and serves as a public key exchange point of both users, because sender needs a public key of the receiver and vice versa.
So just quick question. Where do they chat? What would this look like, or what does it look like? Can you maybe can you give us a quick maybe insight and cheat a little bit and let us know how that would work?
Yeah, all the 4thTech solutions are available inside our web client platform.
Okay, so on the platform.
Yes. So you need two things. You need to have Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox add-on extension installed. This is your wallet, which is a multi-chain wallet that supports all the supported protocols. And you need to access to log in with your wallet. You log into our web client platform, and you choose between different tabs. You have a data exchange tab, which is basically a 4DX. You have the account tab where you check your balances of the different blockchains, and you have your instant messaging tab. You tap the tab and you exchange wallet addresses and start chatting. So, like I said, one message, one transaction. Of course, there are two problems immediately coming up here. So basically, that means that one transaction cost. But because Solana has a very low transaction price, let's say under a quarter of a cent, this chat will be secure, but it will not cost so much money. So we will see how this goes, depending on the transaction price. But this is a solution for now that seems viable. Yeah. Of course, then we have the message capacity and length will be determined after the test phase. Will it be possible to send really long messages or short messages? I think this will also correlate to the transaction price, but we'll have all these details when the testing is done.
And where would this? So you said this is all through the 4thTech platform. Where can this be available? I mean, just as a simple user question, can I do this through my phone? How does that work? I mean, can this be so quick in terms of, you mentioned just pressing the tab, but... Yeah.
For now, you will need a computer to...
Okay, so PC. Okay.
Yeah, Google Chrome browser or Chromium, whichever Chromium browsers, or let's say Brave browser or Mozilla. And this will be possible to do that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And of course, a mobile app would be the ultimate goal for this solution, of course.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe to answer your question at the beginning, I think that private online communication is possible.
Well, that's good to hear. You are a very strong proponent of blockchain, right? So that is good to hear. And you also mentioned the different browser option, right? So in terms of Brave and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, basically with the Google Chrome add-on and extension and Mozilla Firefox, we cover most of the browsers that are available.
Sure. We touched upon the pricing, right? So one transaction, one message. Maybe this can bring us to sort of the gas problem or the gas fees and the current topic of sort of the big topic everyone's been talking about. So the last component of the Ethereum monetary policy to solve, right? Maybe you can talk about the EIP 1559 impact and the London Ethereum fork. How does that impact on the Ethereum transactions? But more so, how would that impact 4DX and maybe for staking, if at all? Peter, can you maybe take this question?
For sure. I will take a moment and try to explain what the London update is and what are its benefits.
Perfect.
So London update is the name of the set of upgrades which are now live on Ethereum blockchain. The update features individual upgrades, each known as Ethereum Improvement Proposal. I will use EIP for the rest of the conversation. So EIP 159 is the focus of the update, and made up of two parts. The first changes how gas fees work, which should make Ethereum transactions cheaper. The second burns these fees instead of sending them to miners, which will reduce the supply of Ethereum by approximately 1 to 2% each year. So, some words about EIP and transaction fees. If you already know, the bull run at the start of this year, which took Ethereum from $750 to $4,000 in less than 4 months, highlighted several weaknesses within Ethereum. This resulted in competitors such as Binance Smart Chain taking some of its market share by offering faster and cheaper transactions. To understand why this was such a problem and why it needs to be solved, let's recap how fees on Ethereum work.
Okay.
Fees are charged on every transactions and paid to the miners who bundle and add transactions to each new block, which is roughly every 10 to 15 seconds. Blocks include bundles of transactions and are how data on blockchain gets updated. Transactions occur anytime you move assets or interact with a smart contract or application. So, as you can see, transactions occur every time you do something on Ethereum, except if you are reading data from blockchain.
Okay.
Currently, fees work via an auction system. How much you bid helps determine how soon your transaction will be processed. With those bidding, the highest going first. Okay?
So this is then where EIP 159 comes in, hopefully.
Yes. And the EIP 159 will hopefully put an end to the feedback loop of sky-high fees created during periods of congestions. Although it may not solve the issue of front-running and may even create new opportunities in that area. So, to reduce transaction fees, EIP 159 abandoned the auction system in favor of a base fee with the option to add a tip to prioritize your transactions. So basically now the fee is set with base fee, and the base fee will be applied to all transactions automatically. So every transactions will pay the same base fee. It is dynamic and it will be calculated based on network congestion. A bit like the way rideshare platforms like Uber adjust their fees based on demand. And the second part will be tip fee. Again, like ride sharing, there is an option to add a tip. However, rather than adding it at the end of your ride because you have a good experience, you get it at the start to ensure you get picked up before anyone else. Tips essentially mimic the auction element, allowing you to prioritize your transactions by offering to pay more. And miners are then motivated to include your transactions as soon as they can in order to receive the tip. So, importantly, both the base fee and the tip will be paid in Ether. Where this gets interesting is that the base fee won't go to the miner. Instead, it will be burned, which will reduce the amount of Ethereum in circulation. I would just like to remember all that new Ether is still created with each block as a part of the mining rewards. So it won't turn it into a deflationary asset immediately. We will need to wait until the Ethereum 2.0 merge, which will change how the Ethereum coins are produced by eliminating mining in favor of proof of stake. I would like to point out also that the latest fork did not have any impact on fork services and protocols. As explained, we can expect cheaper transactions in near future and when sending documents using 4DX service.
Okay, so it has not had any impact, but you are expecting that hopefully the prices or the gas fees, well, especially from the Ethereum choice, should decrease.
For sure, we are hoping that the calculation behind the base fee will reduce the transaction fee.
Yeah, we will see, right? This is a sort of what everybody's debating right now, how the protocol, the EIP 1559 will impact this problem. Yeah, well, I guess we wait and see. Thanks. Maybe Tali, let's move on in terms of your multi-chain approach, and can we dive more into this subject?
Yes. Basically, it's a good continuation of the Peter's explanation. It's sort of a touch topic. So yes, it's basically we started to develop on Ethereum. Our first data exchange or smart contract was released on Ethereum main chain in April 2018. And the situation that we went multi-chain was basically enforced on us by the extreme Ethereum gas prices in 2020. I know for a fact that in September 2020, we reached some extreme gas prices. If you wanted to exchange, let's say, 20 megabytes of data from wallet to wallet using our solution, you had to pay, I think, $160, something.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So this is without our fee. We didn't have it, and we still don't charge it.
Wow.
But if I look back, that was one of the better things that could happen. So we moved a little and were forced to become multi-blockchain interoperable. What became a really great choice. So if I look at back, so multi-blockchains support enables transaction cost and speed choice, which is essentially important when dealing with public blockchain. No? So that the user can choose which blockchain to choose according to the transaction price. So this is the main benefit here, is to enable the users with more control over the choice of which blockchain to use when exchanging data. So it all comes down to the user's preference. If decentralization is the key, then the Ethereum with its 10K plus nodes is an obvious choice. The transaction cost will cost more, and it may take up longer to execute, but you will get the biggest decentralization factor when exchanging your sensitive data files. If you as a user are not so decentralization sensitive, then maybe Edgeware, substrate of Polkadot could be your chosen network. The transaction costs almost nothing, and it is executed almost in real time. So in Q3 this year, 2021, we are adding Solana as the fourth supported blockchain, and as such, fourth user's choice.
Oh,
yeah. So it's all about that. But now I can add that our framework is already compatible with all EVM compatible networks. Additionally, it supports Hashnet, Substrate, and now Solana. So we more or less covered all the bases.
So just to recap, make it clear, the user's preference is obviously, so the first factor is the price. So if I were to have these 4 chains to choose from, I would obviously look at the price and then the speed. Is that sort of what your
utilization?
Right, right.
As I look at it, the more nodes that operate and control one network, basically, the more decentralization is in that network. So yeah, those 3 factors, and you can choose according to those 3 factors.
Okay, so that's what sort of takes the user through the thought process. So it's those factors specifically. Yeah. Okay, so what about the notion of now you have 4 choices? Why now so many? Why maybe not just have 2 or 3, or are you planning to add more? What's the benefit of having more versus just a few? More
means more choice. It's simple as that. So yeah, as I see it, why not 10? It's and then the user can choose. So it's multi-chain interoperability, I think, is for now the right way to go. Of course, the easiest solution would be to support one chain, let's say Ethereum, and you have decentralization. You have plus 10,000 nodes. That's a good check. That's the biggest decentralized network in basically smart network in the world. But the problem here is congestion, so time of the execution of the transaction, and the price, so the cost of the smart contract, let's say, execution. But now these layer 2s are popping up, which can maybe help here. Why not? If Ethereum with layer 2s will be at the end, will prevail at the end, we will support that. But in the meantime, why not use the biggest choice possible to users?
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to get behind sort of the thought process of if someone does not understand the difference between the different choices, right? You know, why Edgeware versus Solana, right? Maybe Ethereum is the obvious one, but some of the other ones.
I can clarify here where our thought process were when we were choosing the networks. So basically at the time, Edgeware was the only smart contract substrate of Polkadot. And it was, of course, the obvious choice. Other smart contract chains of substrate are popping up. So yes, we will see if we will add another, because we are already Polkadot framework compatible. And Solana was also an obvious choice from the prospect of speed and transaction cost, because we will add Solana support for the 4DX, so for the data exchange, but the main purpose will be the instant messaging protocol. So that will be the main purpose, because of the, let's say, one transaction, one message, and real time. We hope to achieve real time messaging. That's why Solana came in play here. You
mentioned layer 2 before. Can you elaborate maybe on the revolution behind layer 2 and the side chains?
Yeah, this is a very interesting topic. So scalability is a blockchain biggest challenge. So layer 2s are the form of a roll-up and side chains, and are far the best possible solution for now. So the primary role of the layer 1 main chains is to maintain overall security, confirm batch transaction records, and resolve disputes. So because layer 1, if we take a look at Ethereum here, has achieved a really great decentralization, like I said before, 10,000 plus nodes. So this is the security. It refers to basically layer 1 network refers to main chain blockchain, while a layer 2 protocol is a third-party integration that can be used in a conjunction with the layer 1 blockchain. So it's connected. They are connected. Okay. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, for example, are layer 1 blockchains. Layer 1 solutions change the rules of the protocol itself in order to increase transaction capacity and speed while accommodating more users and data. So basically, layer 1 scaling solutions can entail, for example, increasing the amount of data contained in each block. So this is one of the options that is studied, or accelerating the rate at which blocks are confirmed. And with these two, let's say, solutions, with the goal to increase overall throughput. So layer 2 refers to a network of technology that operates on top of an underlying blockchain protocol to improve its scalability and effect. So these are layer 2s, basically.
Can you maybe give us an example?
Yeah, so Bitcoin layer 2 is a Lightning network.
Sure.
Ethereum layer 2s are ZK Sync and Arbitrum, let's say, for example. Yeah.
You mentioned rollups. Can we maybe go deeper into rollups? And Peter, can you take this one?
For sure. I will focus on ZK rollup. And ZK rollup strictly inherits the security guarantees of the underlying level 1. Validators can never corrupt the state of or steal funds. User can always retrieve the funds from the ZK rollup smart contract, even if validator or validators stop cooperating because the data is available. Neither users nor a single trusted third party needs to be online to monitor ZK rollup blocks in order to prevent fraud. Unlike fraud-proof systems such as payment channels or optimistic rollups. I would like to point out that rollups are a general approach to scaling open contracts. That is, contracts that everyone can see and interact with. In a rollup, transactions are written on Ethereum as a cold data, but the actual computation and storage of the contract are done off-chain. Somebody, a validator, for example, posts on-chain an assertion, also known as a rollup block, about what the contract will do, a list of actions taken by the contract, such as payments made, and a cryptographic hash of its states after the contract has been executed, the calls that have already been posted on-chain. We can think of the assertion as a rollup, all of the calls and their results into a single on-chain transaction. An Arbitrum rollup chain is a super scaled layer 2 chain. Like rollups, the Arbitrum rollup chain is built on top of the secured by the Ethereum blockchain, and all transaction data is locked on Ethereum.
Okay, and what about side chains?
Yeah, I can help here. So side chains are independent blockchains used for a layer 1 scaling. Side chains use an independent consensus mechanism, so different than the original chain, which can be optimized for speed and scalability. We can cross from layer 1 to side chains using a bridge. For example, we can state that Binance Smart Chain and Polygon are side chains of Ethereum. So we can bridge assets using several bridge solutions. So just to add here, the whole point of layer 2s and side chains are that computation and such processes are done off-chain, basically as a part of layer 2 or side chain solutions. So on the layer 1, you just record a hash you basically validate the side chain, or the side chain are not, but the layer 2 are validated on layer 1. But side chains run independently, and the bridge is between the layer 1 and the side chains that enables the assets bridging, for example. So yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's quite a mouthful to understand. Yeah. I think I'll probably have to listen to this podcast about 5 times so I understand exactly what you're talking about. But what do you see 4thTech adopting layer 2s or side chains?
Yes, we are already looking into possibilities to support one of the Ethereum layer 2 solutions. As it is a new technology, the implementations are now taking place. So yes, I think by the end of the year, we can select a viable option for integration. Currently, we have our hands full with Solana integration. So yeah.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
And the industry is ever changing, so you have to keep up and act quickly. Well, thank you both for this very informative and also quite technical podcast. Is there anything that you would like to add and maybe conclude with, given what we've talked about, Tali? Maybe?
Yes, I think that it's important to know that we are living in really exciting times where anybody with a little programming knowledge and a lot of will, of course, can launch a financial product or a decentralized application on a globally accessible network that anyone can use and communicate with. I also think that we are on the right path to regaining back control over our digital data. We have the tools, so all the rest is in our hands.
Yeah, and let's hope it goes into the right direction. So, and also this sheds light on DeFi, the lightning speed at which DeFi is evolving. So maybe at some later date we can talk about that. Peter, any last thoughts before we end our podcast?
I would agree with Tali. I think he summarized everything nicely. I would also add that the future is bright, and if you are in blockchain space, you can notice that projects are evolving, that everything is going with, as you said, lightning speed, and we can expect a lot of great results from this space.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Tali. And thanks everyone for listening. And stay tuned for our next episode.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Tali. Thank you, Peter. And thank you everyone for listening to our first blockchain recorded podcast. Thanks also to our sponsor, 4thTech, who's supporting our first steps in the podcast world. You can find this 4thTech talk with supporting information on our website, blockchainrecorded.com. You can also find us on Google, Apple, and Amazon podcasts, as well as Spotify, Radio Public, and Stitcher. Let's finish today's episode with the following message. Our data, our control. Stay tuned for our next episode.